And we are live with episode 17 of the Silver Screen Savants. And we are talking tonight about 1998's Desperado. I think in 1998.
1995.
I was close.
About 3 years.
Yeah. Oh, boy. This was your pick this time?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to put the words how to describe to start this one.
Well, this was a movie that was basically treated kind of like you would treat the Evil Dead 1 and 2 movies, where Sam Raimi created Evil Dead, but then Evil Dead 2, even though being a little bit different than Evil Dead 1, was still kind of close to the original movie, but they changed some things up. The same thing happened with Desperado, where Robert Rodriguez created a film called El Mariachi in 92, based off of only $15,000. And it's a similar theme. It's actually the beginning of Desperado when we see the character Banderas, Benito, who gets his hand shot and his girlfriend killed by that one drug guy. That's sort of what's the big part of the story in El Mariachi. So basically, Rodriguez had a better budget, did Desperado, introduced us to Antonio Banderas as well as Salma Hayek. Lovely Salma Hayek. And it turned out to be a really big movie. I can't remember what movie in the theater I was watching when I saw the trailer for this, but I remember seeing this and was like, I'm going to go see this. Like, it looks so good. Like, I didn't know anything about it. Just saw the action. I saw some familiar faces like Cheech Marin, and I was like, gotta go see this. What else was I going to say? I think that's about it. But yeah, obviously, there's some other nods in here we'll get into when we start talking about it. But yeah, basically, you have a mariachi whose girlfriend was murdered by a drug dealer connected to another drug dealer, the head drug dealer, Bucho. And basically, he's on a revenge tour to try to hunt down Bucho for revenge for his girlfriend. So he's going to different bars in Mexico, and he's just like shooting them up and trying to get more information to get closer. We, of course, get introduced to Steve Buscemi's character, Buscemi. Is a good friend of Benito, and he's basically going into bars, sort of trying to like gauge the atmosphere about whether or not they know anything about Bucho. So he starts storytelling. He's like, yeah, in the bar, and in walked the biggest fucking Mexican I ever seen. And, of course, he's trying to lay it on thick, and, and he's just hitting keywords like, yeah, he said something like Bucho. And then, of course, the bartender, which is Cheech Marin here, as well as I forget the other guy, but he's part of the band. Tito and the Tarantulas, I think that he's like the singer, I think, of that. But anyway, they know who Bucho is, and of course, Buscemi picks up on that. So he keeps talking a story about how Benito, or that he doesn't know him by name. He just says he just saw the shadows, and describes how he goes into the bar and just starts killing people trying to get information. So that's basically what Buscemi's job is, to kind of let Benito know if there's any news of Bucho or they are familiar with him, so he can go in and try to get his own information. But Benito is a very, right now he's already destroyed a few bars. He's got a reputation. No one's ever seen his face or know who he is, but he carries a guitar case full of weapons. That's the one thing that everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean,
the actor's name, Tito Lara Villa or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's I believe he's the singer of a band too. So like that's that we see in From Dusk Till Dawn. So that's like there's going to be a connection there soon that we'll see. But yeah, so I mean, this was your first time seeing it. What were your first impressions about Desperado?
You got me hooked, impressed, everything. I like the kills for this one were really impressive. Whether it be a rocket launcher guitar case.
That be noted. The other guy, his friend, his other one, I can't remember what's your name, the Gumbo and somebody else, but the other guy with the two guitar cases, right? He played the original El Mariachi in the first film. So the character that Banderas is playing is actually the one that the other guy played in the first film.
And I do like also the I do like the machine gun case with them. It's like, wow, this is impressive. I really like this.
Yeah, Robert really upped the ante when he did this, and there's a nice scene when we're kind of way ahead, but we'll come back. But there's a nice scene there where when the two friends show up with those guitar cases, and Manito, Banderas, he's looking over. I'm like, these guys are fucking crazy. Look at this shit. I thought I had something crazy with my guitar case. These guys are pulling out rocket launchers and everything else. So very cool stuff. Very cool ideas by Rodriguez in this.
You are, if I'm not mistaken, you are talking about Carla, the right-hand man. Is that who you're talking about by...
No, he's the guy that was next to Bucho. So he was like the guy very close to Bucho. So we're looking for, I think it's Campa. I think he's the one that originally played Banderas. Yeah, so yeah, in '92, he's the one who plays El Mariachi. So he's playing Antonio Banderas' character in that one. The other guy, I guess it's Nino, might be the other one, but they don't have a picture, so I can't really tell. But I'm pretty sure that that's what they're going with there. We also get Danny Trejo, a very early role for Danny Trejo, which turns out during the filming that Robert Rodriguez discovered that Trejo's his cousin. So this was something they discovered while filming, which was kind of cool as well.
And he would go on to do the Machete franchise.
Yep. Became very popular. He's done a lot of movies, a lot of usually stuff direct to video, but if you ever seen, he has a doc out there. I can't remember the name of it, but it's talks about his life because he was in prison for a while. He was actually in prison for a while, but got out and became a big movie star. So that's kind of like a good feel good story for him.
Never even seen it.
Yeah, it's so good. But Danny's like an incredibly nice dude. I've never met him, but I've read about it through other people that he's just incredibly nice.
I'll have to check out his work, this documentary sometime. You got me interested enough to check it out.
Yeah.
And then I've seen Steve Buscemi, I've seen Antonio Banderas, and others. I was introduced to them through Spy Kids.
Yeah.
Of all things.
I think there was one more actor in this that was in that movie. I didn't see Spy Kids, but from what I read,
Aaron is in it also.
Yeah.
I don't know if Selma is, but what? Oh no, she's not. Okay, I'm thinking of somebody else. That's the mom in it. Yeah, I do like how this movie opens with the story. Talking about past, kind of sets up where we're introduced to El Mariachi in it.
Yeah.
I think it's a fresh, interesting idea that's really well done.
Yeah, and it has some very interesting things in here too, because obviously Quentin Tarantino is being a friend of Robert Rodriguez. He was in this. He does a nice scene in this, playing like basically a buyer. But he also apparently suggested to Robert to do a third film called Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which Robert did do in 2003, which is the third one of the series. So kudos to Quentin for telling him to do that film, because that's a good film too.
Do you know a lot of the behind the scenes on this movie, or is there
just a few things? I know that even before I read any of the trivia, I know that Salma, like, she did a love scene with Antonia in this, and because she was so nervous about it, they had to really close the set off. It was basically just Antonio, her, Robert, and then probably the cameraman or somebody else, like the boom man or something. But I did read on the trivia, it said that director Robert Rodriguez said in his DVD commentary that the day they shot Salma Hayek's love scene with Antonio Banderas, the entire crew showed up to see it. So, like, she's already nervous, but then you have every guy in there probably wanting to see her body and how hot she was back then, to check it out. And he's like, because she just, like, there were times that she said that she was kind of crying because, like, she couldn't do it. But Antonio and Robert put her at ease, and she did say that Antonio was like the perfect gentleman. So, like, there was no issues there with that. But it was just because she had never done like a nude scene or anything. So, and kudos to her, because sometimes actresses will just say get a body double and do it, right? But she did it. And I guess she also said that when they went to the premiere screening, her parents and her brother were there, but she forced them to go into the lobby during the love scene, so she wouldn't feel uncomfortable about it. So.
Just looking at this, those would be fun to cover, the Machete movies.
Oh yeah, Yeah.
I've seen. Let's see. One of them. I know. I can't remember which one.
I know Banderas performed his own guitar work and stuff.
Uh
He
huh.
did. So he's been a singer, so he knows that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering with this film if this was his lead up into Zorro and all that stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But
He was a hot
he is still. I would
commodity
say.
back, you know.
I would say still that in that hot in that commodity still.
Yeah, because I mean, he went from that to, like I said, do Assassins and to Zorro, and then he hit gold again because he played Puss in Boots as a voice. So like that was a really big deal for the animation. So, and then he does like all these like either thrillers or like romances, and he can sing. He's done like some movies where he's singing a little bit. So yeah, he has quite a bit of a big resume and wide net of versatility as an actor. So I don't really get into a lot of the other more romantic or singing stuff, but when it came to his action stuff like Zorro and this and Assassins, I really enjoyed those works.
What was his couple of his more recent roles I can think of that his stardom still shines. He was in the last Indiana Jones movie. In that,
Oh, he
uh
was in Interview with the Vampire too.
huh. I've never seen that. That would be.
Yeah, he was actually in a smaller role. Armand, it's not Armand. Armand. He played Armand.
Uh huh. Yeah, Uncharted. That's what he was in that, and I think that his stardom shown in that one.
Hmm.
With him, he can be a hero character in movies, or he could be a villain in movies.
Yeah.
It's like a switchblade type actor, so he can play both roles really well.
I keep seeing because I know Wiki can be off sometimes, and they keep calling her Carolina, but I thought it was Catalina. The way that it sounded when Bucho was talking about her, and I thought it was Catalina, but it's saying it's Carolina.
Uh,
Not that it really matters that much,
I mean,
but anyway, obviously after we get the intro with Bassimi, telling the story to the bar, which is called the Tarasco. Cheech Marin, who's the bartender, he's there, and then Tito or Tavo, as the character he's playing, is basically like the guy that kind of runs the bar. He's like one of Bucho's main guys to run that section, that bar, or whatever drug dealing shit they got going on there. And there's a couple of cool scenes. We get a scene with these three girls that are tourists that they're like start talking about how bad the service is there. And, what is Cheech's name in this? It just calls him the bartender. He's just like, well, because they're like asking where the waiter went, and she's like, if he's still in the bathroom, he's like, I don't know, it might be wherever. But that's a funny scene. And of course, we get Quentin doing his little cameo in this. He starts telling the joke about pissing in the glass and all that, which was a good joke, actually. I thought that was pretty funny. But then, obviously, as Quentin goes in the back, his character goes in the back to get his money for his drugs or whatever, is when Manito walks in, and, everyone's on eggshells now, even the bartender. He's just kind of like, what's in the guitar case? He's like, a guitar? And Tony trying to play it off. And if for people that haven't seen it, obviously when you open up the guitar case, there's like this cover guitar. It's just like the top part of the guitar sitting there. So it does make it look like it's just a guitar. So when one of the henchmen are looking at the case, he says, oh yeah, it's just a guitar. But then like 3 or 4 seconds later, it starts opening up like a lid. And then all these like hand grenades and guns are in there.
mm-hmm.
And this is where there's a nod to From Dusk Till Dawn, because there's a gun in there that's a crotch gun. It's like a shooter that straps on your crotch. And what it does is when you want to fire it, it pops out like a penis and then shoots. And that's something that um, is seen in From Dusk Till Dawn by the character Sex Machine. He's actually using that weapon in that movie, which is also directed by Tarantino and Rodriguez. So another one that we'll probably visit at some point.
What? From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of a funny nod to that, even though at the time this was before that. But when I saw it being used and From Dusk Till Dawn, I just started laughing. I was like, I've seen that before.
I've seen From Dusk Till Dawn. I've never seen the sequels.
Two's okay, but three's good. I like 1, 3, and 2 is how I'd rank them personally. But three was more of like a prequel to how Salma Hayek's character came to be, but it's not her playing the role. It's Rebecca Gayheart, I think. She's playing that role, I think.
Uh-huh.
But it's a good film. It's a good film.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like how you say how Buscemi sets up, the introduction to Desperado El Mariachi. And I like also that where he comes in, it's like a big shoot 'em up in the bar when he enters, and I really like that. I think it's creative, it's unique. I would say you don't see a lot of that in a lot of movies nowadays.
No, in fact, I read again, like the bullets they were using in this were like blood splatter bullets. So they would shoot them and it would do blood splatter, which is actually pretty good. I don't think we see too much of that now. But apparently it was so realistic that I don't know, the MPAA or whatever, they had to tell them to tone it down because it was a little bit too realistic. They were making it really look like real killings and whatnot. So Rodriguez had to cut some of it back out, but that was kind of a cool thing with the blood splatter bullets. So one of the fights going on in the bar, Tavo is in the back with the money guy, the accountant, and then Tarantino's character. And Tavo thinks Tarantino's character set him up, so he's killing Tarantino's character. And then the other guy was coming back into the bar, the accountant, and then he's trying to fight with Manito, and Manito finally gets the better of him and starts walking out. Like the whole bar is shot up and gone. So he starts walking down the street, and that's when we get introduced to Carolina or Catalina, whatever one. She's walking across the street. Some guys are in a car, ram into another car, so they're busy looking at her. And as she's walking towards the street where he is, where Banderas is, they're kind of looking at each other, some eye candy between each other. But Tavo is behind Banderas. And so just as Tavo's like ready to shoot him in the back of the head, Carolina gives it away with her eyes. And that's when Tarantino kills Tavo on the street, but he gets shot in the arm in the process. So she takes him back to her bookstore, which she runs, which no one buys books from, and sews him back up in his arm. She's not a very good doctor, but she tries her best. And there's some like coy talk between them, banter. And she does, and eventually discovers that he's the guy that everyone talks about. He's like that myth, because we get Bucho and his guys who, they keep, everyone hears about the guitar player, but no one really knows if he's real or not. They all just kind of think it's like a myth.
Mm-hmm.
So you met the right-hand man, Carlos Gomez, the actor who's playing that role. He keeps getting shit on by Bucho. He's like, dude, go find this guy and just kill him. So while Bucho's guys are out there trying to find the mariachi, we also have the headquarters of Bucho, like his bosses, now sent an assassin played by Danny Trejo called Nahavas. And he's like really good at knives, and he's very menacing looking.
I really like this character in this movie, actually.
Yeah.
He feels like a menacing kind of villainish type because, he's going whoosh, 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 like that with the knives.
Very accurate with him, too.
Yeah, he must have practiced or trained with somebody
But it
for
was
this
funny
role.
because
I
he
don't
does a
know.
good job. He doesn't even talk in this. Like he just does his business.
Uh-huh.
But by the time he gets to like From Dusk Till Dawn, where he's playing the bartender in that one, he gets a little bit more of a funny side to him, which I think he eventually uses a lot of that when he goes to do Machete later on, where he has that like sarcastic comedy to him a little bit. But in this, he's very menacing, very, very quiet, and just kind of goes about his business.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but that pisses off Bucho because Bucho's like, well, you got guys here, and I don't know if my guys are going to kill your guys or he's going to kill my guys. I need to make sure that that doesn't happen. And sure enough, that's eventually what happens. You know, the big thing that happens is Buscemi is kind of tired of Manito killing a bunch of people. Like he understands like why Manito wants to get revenge about his girlfriend and stuff, but it's like he's like tired of just all the death and bloodshed. So he's like, look, this is it for me, man. Like you either just call it quits or I'm out of here. I'm not doing this anymore. So they're kind of having this discussion as they're walking down the street, and that's when Trejo's character walks up and actually hits him with a couple of hits, Buscemi with a couple of knives to the chest, which pretty much puts him down. And then again, Manito gets a few in his arms and his back. And again, nice job with the special effects with the blood. So when he's pulling out the blades, like it's like a bunch of blood squirting everywhere.
I wonder if those were a special type of knife or throwing knife that had blood effect with them.
I don't know. That'd be interesting to see how they kind of did those scenes. But we also get introduced to a young kid at the same time. So this young kid's playing a guitar, meets up with Manito earlier in the film, and Manito's like kind of teaching him how to play. He says you got to play every day if you want to be a mariachi. Practice, practice, practice. But also, the young kid is being used as a drug mule to swap out guitars. So these guys will take his guitar, give him a guitar to probably give to somebody else, which holds like cocaine or whatever it is. And the kid ends up telling Manito, like, everybody in the town does it for Bucho. Like, that's how they basically spread their dope around. It's like using these businesses as a front. So even though Catalina doesn't get any sales, like Bucho pays her like 50 grand a year just to be a spot where a guitar shows up, someone picks it up and takes it or whatever. So this kind of pisses off Manito a little bit. He's like, you're working with him, you're hiding him. And she's like, no, I don't really care about the guy, but I need money to keep this bookstore open. And I'll tell you one thing, she's not very good with money. Well, that's for sure. But anyway, there is an attraction between the two of them. She covers for him when Bucho finally shows up, kind of just looking around and talking. And, he clearly has like a sense of power over her. He's tried to kiss her a couple of times, but she's hesitant, but at the same time, he does pay her bills for her place. So she has to kind of keep the peace, but she doesn't give away Manito, who's inside the building with her. But eventually, his henchmen, the right hand man, they all come across the assassin, and they end up fighting each other. And the assassin gets the best of most of them, except for the lead girl. I can't remember her name, who ends up shooting him to death, as well as the right hand man's cousin, who had his leg broken earlier in the film by Christos. Which is a cool fight. I like that fight in that little arena. It was kind of fun to watch. So yeah, after Manito again, he gets these blades in him from the assassin. He has to be sewed back up. So again,
She's like alcohol or something on him then?
Yeah, it was like alcohol or something that would burn like a motherfucker. Because it wasn't like he was in a hospital, so it's like whatever they had on hand. So she sews him back up and lets him rest, and then they of course have their love scene. And so she bought him a guitar because she wants him to kind of replace the guns with the guitar because she knows he's a El Mariachi. And so they have this nice moment where he's talking. Just for people to know, the soundtrack to this movie is very good. Very, very good. I actually own this soundtrack on my CD. So very good soundtrack.
Now I'm like, I want to see this cut CD now. You showing it on stream.
I'll show you.
Forever. Yeah. Hi, Hazel. I'm still on the thing.
All right. So yeah, the CD, the Desperado.
Wow, that's isn't that the movie cover?
Yep. Yeah, this is original. I got this back in '95 after I saw the movie. Fucking love this. Great soundtrack.
It's really cool.
I can't remember if I had this on VHS or not. Definitely have it on.
Funny you mention the VHS. How I watched it when I watched it was VHS quality off of archive.
Yeah. Let's see. So they end up having sex, and she starts kind of playing guitar while he's sort of sleeping, and that's when Bucho realizes that Catalina was kind of lying. Like he understands that the mariachi is there with her at the bookstore. So his idea is to just burn the bookstore down, kill them both, and be done with it. Obviously, Manito is very good at understanding when things don't seem right. So they get attacked, and he manages to get her and him out of there. And then they jump over to a neighboring roof. But that's not before or after they figure out that the bookstore's on fire. And so while they're kind of just sitting there, Bucho shows up in his limo. It's like this nice limo that's got bulletproof and all that shit. But Bucho shows up, and she goes, well, there he is. And at this point, Manito has never seen the face of Bucho. Like, he hasn't seen him. He was been looking for him and looking for him and looking for him. When he was inside the bookstore earlier, he didn't come out because he had henchmen out there, and he would have put Catalina at risk if he'd done that. So she covered for him that he was there, but didn't give him away. But now they're on top of the roof across. Mm-hmm. She's like, there he is. So he grabs his gun with the scope, and he's looking, and he's ready to kill the guy. He's like, I can end this right now. And when Bucho turns his face to kind of, to where the scope is, even though Bucho can't see him, Manito recognizes it. And he says, fuck. And we don't know why yet, but he refuses to shoot him. And so Catalina's pissed because she's like, this guy just burned down my bookstore. So finally, when they get back to another room, he's figuring out now that maybe he doesn't want to go through with his plan, and we still don't know why exactly yet. So he says to her, he says, like, well, let's just get your money, and then we can just go away together and just live a happy life. And she tells him that, well, that's good and all, but there's only one problem. All my money was in the books that burned down the fucking bookstore. So anything he can do, Manito could do, is just laugh because, like, it's like figures. That's just kind of how life is sometimes. But that's why I say she's not very good with money. Like, could have put it anywhere but inside the books. But now they're basically gonna she's like, well, we need to figure out how to handle this. And she's like, you're gonna need some help because Bucho has like a lot of guys, of guys. So this is when he decides to call Nino and Campa, and he's like, if I call them, they're gonna destroy this town. Like, they're crazier than he is. So he calls him anyway, and they show up real cool. Like I said, Campa has the two guitar cases that are machine guns, and then Nino has that rocket launcher like thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so they group together. They're ready to fight. They're in the middle of the street, and of course, here comes the limo, all the henchmen, and everybody. Bucho's not there. He's still back at the fortress that he's got, and big old gunfight breaks out. This is something that Rodriguez is very good to know about, to do all this action sequences and whatnot. So get to see a lot of cool shit. What did you feel about the fight here?
You're talking about the bookstore fight?
No, the when the two guys showed up with the guitar cases.
Oh, and one's a fake or something like shoot. Oh, okay. So
the rocket launcher guy and the other one.
One's when he's injured and he meets the child.
No, he meets his two friends with the guitar cases.
Oh, okay. Back to what we said earlier. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Quino. So it's Campa and Quino. So it's Albert Michael Jr. is Quino. That's the other guy.
I really enjoyed this scene a lot. It's probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie because they're going ballistic. It's like Rambo with a machine gun just mowing down the guys with a machine gun. And the rocket launcher is like Arnold in Commando, just rocketing people with a just going ballistically crazy. I love that scene though.
It's you've got, like I said, the one Quino has the rocket launcher, but then he gets hit by a bullet, and it's as he's trying to fire the launcher, and the launcher goes up and it comes back down and just kind of blows him up. And Campa is still like walking with his two dual guitar cases and firing them at will, but then he starts to run out of them bullets, and he end up getting kills, which really is probably the only kind of flaw in the film, but that's not really Rodriguez's type of film. Like, you would think there'd be a little more sentimental value there because of how long that Manito knew these guys. Like, they were mariachis together. When you saw at the beginning of the film, they played together. So for whatever reason, like, Manito doesn't have like a lot of sentimental, emotional sadness when they die. Like, he kind of just gives them a nod, like, yeah, okay, thanks guys. But got to go on because, of course, he's got a young kid, that boy who gets shot by accident through all the chaos that's going on, and has to take him to the hospital.
I was going to say, I like how also you see Campa and Quinino in the beginning also when they're playing the music. I think that's a nice kind of nod that they tie the story together with Campa and Quinino from the beginning to present. It's like it's a flash. It's kind of like our introduction to who Campa and Quinino are, leading back up to next into this scene later where we're reintroduced to them. I really like that they did that. It's like who they are. They didn't say their names there, but yeah, I just like that part. I also like this upcoming, how he kills Bucho.
Well, that's one cool thing about the way that Manito would go and confront the bar. Is like, he has the guitar case, but he also has the whole thing, which I actually saw in Equilibrium a few years later, where if he has his hands up, he has two things in his sleeves that pop out guns when he needs them, which is very nice.
That's also in Priest. Like,
probably, yeah.
It's all, what's his name? It's the lead in that. Urban's the villain in that movie. But kind of the style, the character. Also in Van Helsing, that's like that. Also with the guns.
Yep. So, Yeah, so they end up destroying all the henchmen,
Mm-hmm.
and they end up going to the fortress that Bucho is at. And so uh, he and Catalina walk in there, and this is where Bucho has all their guns on him, but he recognizes Manito as his brother. Because even though Manito knows who he is, Bucho didn't know it was him that had been killing all his guys. So he's like, yeah, and this is where, of course, Catalina realizes that they're brothers, and this is why he didn't shoot him initially. Um, so basically, Bucho's like, look, man, like you've destroyed me. You've destroyed my business. You've brought down the ire of the heads that I work for. Uh, we need to like solve this now and be done with it. Like, and of course, Benito's like, yeah, but it's your guy that killed my girl. Like, what the fuck? And so Bucho's like, yeah, and you killed them. It should have been done and over with there, but you kept coming. So now I'm going to kill Catalina and you're going to watch and we're going to just call it square even. And of course, we know that Benito's not going to deal with that. He's not going to have that happen. And that's when, of course, he pulls out, the two guns that pop up and kills his brother. And then we don't really see the rest of it. Clearly, he probably kills the rest of the henchmen as well, being done with that. Then, of course, he goes back to the hospital, checks on the kid who's doing okay. And then he just tells Catalina, like,
he's going to make it.
What's that?
Basically means he's going to make it.
Yeah. So he tells Catalina, like, did I thank you? She's like, no. She's like, I will. And then he walks away. And then you just get the final scene where, she's driving down the highway and he's walking with his guitar case. And initially, she's like, I want you to thank me right now. And so basically, she's saying, just walk away from your other life. And that's what he does. He throws the case away. They drive off, but then come back because, like, he says, well, it's a long way to the next town. Might need protection. So he just grabs the guitar case anyway. And then that's pretty much the end of the movie. It's not a super long movie. It's only like 105 minutes, but it flows very nicely. The dialogue is great.
44 minutes. It said on the VHS thing, but it's about 1 hour 40 minutes to be exact.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, El Mariachi cost $15,000 to make. That's one of the big things that people loved about Rodriguez because he took so little money. It's almost like the whole like Godzilla -1 thing where small budget, big return. Well, that's kind of like what El Mariachi did, but this one, $7 million, which is a nice budget to work with. That when you're just a small director, but he made $58 million off of that, which is very good, more than enough to cover everything and double his income on that. So good job by Robert. He went on to do a lot of great things, the Grindhouse movies, and of course From Dusk Till Dawn.
El Mariachi was his first ever movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And apparently there's a couple of actors who tried to audition for Manito and Catalina. And I even though they're good actors, like I couldn't see them in their roles now. Like I think that Banderas and Haddock are like the best possible choices because apparently John Leguizamo tried to do Manito. And the thing is, like, Leguizamo is like a very small dude. He's funny and he's a good actor. I couldn't imagine him in this role being an action guy. Like, it just doesn't seem right to me. But apparently, he would have got it if Banderas had turned down the role, but he didn't. And then the other one was Jennifer Lopez was going to audition for Catalina, but didn't get the role.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who that is. Is that just looking up something
for Desperado?
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen Cheech in a long time in movies. In fact, well, actually, this year he was in something, but that was in March. But it's so rare to see Cheech Marin and stuff. I don't think I've ever seen Tommy Chong in a movie.
Oh, those are some fun movies back in the day.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Actually, I have seen him, but I've heard his voice, but I haven't seen him in an actual physical,
Okay.
What?
So, where is it? I just saw it.
What about Desperado?
Yeah. No, it's not her. I don't know. At some point in this movie, Robert's sister was in there, so I was just kind of curious because it says that she made her debut in this film, but I can't think of what character it was.
It's funny that it's interesting that Antonio Banderas actually sung in Desperado. That was him singing it. And if so, he's got a good voice.
Yeah, and it's very authentic too to the theme of the movie. So
Salma Hayek was about 27 years old in the movie when she played.
well, she still looks great.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I mean, you've got the Los Lobos with Antonio Banderas on the soundtrack. You got Dire Straits, Tito and Tarantula. So Tavo, his character, has a song on here. Has a couple songs actually. There's like four. Even Salma Hayek has her little soft song that she sings in there. I don't think they showed the whole thing in the film, but it's on there as well.
It was actually filmed in Texas.
I believe it.
I'm sure at some point we'll cover the sequel.
Oh yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And that Abraham Verdu, I don't know how you say that kid's last name, but he's the kid, his Nino, and the kid in Desperado. Mm-hmm. So Don Henley is listed on the Desperado soundtrack.
Who?
Oh, never mind. Different. So because there's movie thing, and then there's an album that Don Henley and the Eagles did. Yeah, this is probably one of Rodriguez's best movies, I would say. His sister is a singer also.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of cool too. They got like a little.
Oh, she's the bar girl in the movie.
His
sister's the bar girl in Desperado.
Well, I thought that's the case because she looks a lot like her, but then when I look at here, it says the tourist girl is Angela Lansbury, which was one of. So I don't know if that's another chick, but his sister looks like the main one that was complaining, which would make sense because she looks like she has Spanish, you know.
She's also in Sin City's sequel.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can't remember if I ever watched that film.
I've seen them both. I own the first one. I don't own the second one.
There was some other superhero movie that was like in that style.
Yeah, it's The Spirit.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't mind that film. I actually love a lot of the girls and stuff in that, but Samuel L. Jackson's ridiculous, and that's the one thing I hate about it.
I think Samuel L. Jackson's role in Kingsman was really good.
I didn't like him in that one either, though. Mm-mm.
No,
I've loved him in a lot of films, but when it comes to campy and weird, like it just doesn't work for me for him.
but that was, and then Rodriguez would go to do Grindhouse.
Yep, he did.
Planet Terror.
Yeah, Death Proof and Planet Terror.
I've seen Planet Terror. I don't think I saw Death Proof ever.
It's pretty good. Kurt Russell.
As a bad guy.
Yeah. But you also have a lot of like big names in there, which of course I forget now, but yeah,
your girl Rosario Dawson was in there.
She's in there. You have Rose McGowan, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Zoe Bell. So yeah, there's a lot of like big names in this.
Do we want to go do our review of this? Like what out of 10?
Yeah, so final thoughts, and then we can rate them.
Mm-hmm. I'll let you start.
Yeah, I still love this film a lot. It's the reason why I picked it, because it's been a while since I've seen it, but definitely one of Banderas' best. Just great action. I know there's people that complain there's not enough story, but really, technically, they cover that in the first part of the film at the credits at the beginning, where he gets shot and his girlfriend's dead. So in that way, like, we kind of already have an understanding. But if you were somebody that's going to just really dive deep, then you'd go see or watch El Mariachi, and then you would know from there to there. But it's not necessary, which is good. Rodriguez did a good job of covering that. Mm-hmm. Great acting as always. A lot of fun. Good comedy. Cheech Marin is always hilarious in these things. And same with Steve Buscemi, his role. I would still give it a 10 out of 10. I still love it a lot.
I really enjoyed the music. The kills were really impressive for a 90s movie like this style. A lot of gunplay was in effect, and there was some daggers who like play with this movie also. I also think the kills were impressive. There was a lot of cool stunts that I like, whether it be the guitar rocket launcher case going boom, or the machine gun case. I would like to see different kinds of more newer cases. I don't know if they've ever thought of bringing this series back with a fourth one, but I could see them doing it now with technology. Mm-hmm. Advanced and more dynamic, but I would say it's probably a 9 or a 9.5 for me. But I'll go 9.5.
Okay. Yep.
Upcoming content?
Well, me for now, I don't have much in the works because I haven't really updated my schedule yet. But I will be updating people probably sometime this week before it gets started. But I did send you the cover for my next pick after we do yours next weekend.
Hold on, I can show that.
After we do your pick, I'll be doing Lionheart with you with Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's going to be our pick.
Looks cool.
Yep. Good movie. A lot of fun.
Was it boxing?
Street fighting.
I don't. Matter of fact, the only Claude Van Damme movie I think now that I've seen is that Captain America one where he's that one character in it.
You mean Street Fighter?
No, he's in one of the Captain Americas also. He's the Leaper character. Oh, shoot. I think he's in...
You're talking about the Marvel movies?
Uh-huh.
I don't think he's in Captain America.
Wait. I thought he was. There's somebody that's like him. No, there was an MMA fighter in the second one. In second Captain America.
Yeah.
And I don't even think they're related.
But. No. Oh, you must be talking about at the beginning. I know what you're talking about now. At the beginning when they're on the ship. But that's a different guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's somebody else. Another franchise that I've never heard of. I've heard the name, but I've never seen any. Is the Universal Soldier.
It's a good film too. Yeah, I watched that again not too long ago.
Looks like we could be covering a lot of Van Damme movies, in fact.
At some point, for sure.
Last Action Hero.
Good film.
I've never seen. I don't think I've never seen any of his movies now. I think about it. And I saw this one was on Tubi. This, the one that you were saying we're doing Lionheart.
Yep.
But as for me, my pick for, let me get a picture so I don't blur out the background for this movie. You have any unboxings or anything like that coming up?
Not at the moment. Nope. I mean, I'll probably have some stuff towards the end of the month, maybe. Probably from my mother-in-law.
If I can. There we go. That's our next pick for next week. In fact, this movie just on the 9th just turned 22 years old, so it'll be interesting to talk about it. I'm looking forward to the. I don't know if are you a fan of all the pirates or have you seen all of them?
I've seen all of them. I'm only a big fan of the first three. I don't really like anything after that.
Uh huh.
The casting for the first three is just amazing.
There's a little rumor, and it's nothing official yet, but they're trying to bring back the 1, 2, and 3 cast members, the main three from.
Yeah, they might have a hard time with Depp, but depends on what he wants to do.
I was not a fan of that herd stuff when all that
Yeah,
crud was going on.
yeah, it caused a lot of problems for sure.
I have so much upcoming content. Like I have this eventually.
That's with Goji, right?
Yes, that's what Goji. In fact, speaking of that, I'll have to. I need to ask you how you did the text effects and stuff, like with this show.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that with all the shows, like how to do the effects and stuff for the
Mm-hmm.
text. But I've got that. I actually have, in fact, matter of fact, I've got off the iPad. I am working on the intro. I'm just playing around with. Right now, I've got it set up where I've got a bunch of Marvel stuff on it. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll be covering comic books and stuff like that. We've got this eventually. This I want to get this out. This show September-ish, maybe
Mm-hmm.
at the earliest. Do that. This is going to involve me, Geek, and Alzilla. Um, and then this will be in the pipeline as well at some point. I have to do intros for the Tokusatsu show, and then this, but then also this will be on the channel on both me and Gojira 851's channel as well. But that's all I've got, and in fact, that'll be next month with me and Gojira 851. Our game, the first Gears of War game, which will be out on PlayStation, Xbox, and other systems next month. Off stream, I have been actually playing. I just started yesterday. I started a Souls game,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually enjoyed it. You'll have to. I don't know if you have space and stuff, but it's real funny. It's different. It's a C kind of game. Um, it's called Another Crab's Treasure. It's an indie,
Mm-hmm.
and it has platforming in it, and also you can use a gun to take out the bosses, one shot the bosses. So pretty fun. I might stream it sometime, might not. I'm undecided.
Right.
One of those easy go-to games. Um, I'm thinking maybe next week if we can, since I know Jedi does the anniversary, likes to do the anniversary movies and stuff.
Right.
I'll send him a message
Yeah,
at the airport.
he's currently not back yet, but
He'll be back tomorrow. But yeah, I'm looking forward to what we, are able, if we can bring him on for that, and then we could do an anniversary episode with that on Saturday. If you and whoever else is down to talk that movie on next week, because I'm totally down for Pirates because I grew up with the ride as well.
mm-hmm.
But I think that's about all I've got for now. And this has been episode 17, Desperado of the Silver Screen Savants. Next week, Silver Screen Savants, we will be talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, live. It's already set up, so
rock and roll.
I'm like, you know what? I'll do them both at the same time. That way, more people are there.
We do still hope to interview Bobby Knipp Jr., but we're just waiting on him getting some free time back.
And I get the feeling we will. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give up hope on something like that. No, sorry, I'm not giving up hope on that.
But yeah, it's been grand, and I'm looking forward to the Pirates discussion for sure.
I could go all into, like, I could see us doing a ranking of those movies, even.
Yep. And eventually we'll get back to some of the Bond, too. We'll get back to that.
I was going to say, I do have my ranking done also, but I'm like, is mine the way how I have it, the right order that I want them in, you know? Because the pictures on that thing are really small. I don't know the way that you can make them so they're bigger so you can see them.
It would have to be in your browser. Yeah. You'd have to just increase your browser size.
The window size.
Hey, what's up, Goji?
Huh? Oh, okay. I didn't know he. Okay.
He just got home. He had some things he had to do. So
does he want to come on for a little bit to talk about?
I don't want to rush him in there. He probably just got home, so.
Okay. But yeah, I'm trying to think where. I think I saved it somewhere. Oh boy, this is gonna be a challenge now.
We'll figure it out.
I have my yeah. Do you want Goji? Do you want to join us next week for Pirates? I'm gonna give him a minute, just in case. I don't know if he likes that movie or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he watches them or not. Yeah, I know. Next Saturday, Goji. Next Saturday at 8 o'clock our time.
We're talking the first Pirates movie, by the way.
Yeah, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Movie just turned 22 years old last Friday. No, the 9th. So last Wednesday, it turned 22 years old. 1 second. Okay. Do you want me to give you a preview of what I put for my rankings, or?
No, you can save it.
Okay.
Still have to get with Jedi too, but I mean, I still want to get through some of these other movies before we start doing them. Because some of them I haven't seen in like forever.
Yeah, I'm giving him a second for, so he can get back on that. I want to still do eventually the Batman rankings with you and Goji also. Big question though is, if we did, do we consider Flash as a Batman movie?
Who? You talking about the one with Ezra Miller?
Yeah. Do you consider that? Because No, the
No.
reason I say that is because Batman is in that movie.
Yeah, for a hot second, but no.
Okay. No,
No.
I like the joke. It's kind of a little joke there because I have never.
Oh, it's a cool scene.
No. I said, do you even consider it? Because I've never even seen that movie. I don't even know if I will.
What, that one? You never saw it?
Flash.
Oh,
That Flash movie.
yeah. Man, it's not that great, but
Oh, Goji is good for Pirates.
okay, cool. Yeah,
Do I
it
need
should be
to
good.
send him a link for the movie? Do I need to send you the link for a movie, or do you have like one of the streaming do you have Disney Plus or something that has it? Goji?
Yeah. I agree. I
So
agree.
So we're talking Batman versus Superman, the Keaton of live action ones, and then the Batman. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually ranking them right now because it's not hard for me to rank these films.
The Batman.
Yeah.
You're gonna make a list for us? Is that what you're saying?
I know. I'm making my own list. I'm ranking my own list how I like them.
Oh, okay. And then we'll do our own. Like,
yeah. Whenever that happens, since you remind me.
but anyways, I feel like, okay, we need to end this one. But this has been Silver Screen Savants, episode 17. I could agree with that.
Batman vs Superman is the best. No, you and I will never see eye to eye on this. No.
I'll tell you my opinion on which one is one of my worst on the bottom, and I'm gonna get hated for this.
I'm not. Are we even considering that a Batman movie though? Even though he's in it, like I don't even consider that a Batman movie. We'll talk about it.
but I'll say this: I am one of those people that doesn't like Batman and Robin.
Oh, you're talking about the fourth one they did like way back? No, yeah, that's pretty much on the bottom of the list. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that's like one of the worst ones ever made.
I'll just say this, plain and simple. I know people that like it. I've heard of people that like it, and I've heard of people that don't. So it's a mixed bag. Anyway, so this has been Silver Screen Savants, episode 17, Desperado, bang, bang. And we will see you next Saturday for episode 18, where we will be talking. Maybe we can get a foursome with Jedi also, and but maybe we can get Jedi on for the 18th, and episode 18, and we'll talk Pirates of the Caribbean on next Saturday.
What, if we're going to consider Batman versus Superman as part of that list, that one's coming in dead last. Even Batman and Robin is better than that.
But anyways, this has been episode 17, Desperado. We will see you next time.